You're going to learn how to profit from things that only make most people poorer. This is Get Rich Education with Keith Weinhold.
When you understand that your money is a store of your time and energy, an interest rate is your cost of money, so therefore an interest rate is the cost to your time and energy. Now, when mortgage interest rates rise like they have been lately, housing prices usually, you thought I was going to say fall, didn't you? No, that's not true. When mortgage interest rates rise, housing prices typically rise. We're going to look at why, and by the end of the video, you're going to get a great economics and real estate lesson. Hi, I'm Keith Weinhold. This is Get Rich Education. I've been a long-time writer for Forbes, serving on the Forbes Real Estate Council, writing for the Rich Dad Advisors, but you probably best know my voice today as the longtime host of the Get Rich Education podcast. It is a common snap judgment to think that when mortgage interest rates rise, subsequently housing prices would need to fall because there's a reduction in buyer purchasing power there. When not as many people can afford those higher payments, well, that reduces some of the demand in the market, you would think, but that's not true. Hey, you don't have to, but if you'd put a like on this video, that's instructive to me that you like what you're doing. And if you would, again, you don't have to, but if you hit the subscribe button, also click that little notification bell next to the subscribe button. That's the only way you're gonna know that I have posted a new video here for you on YouTube. First of all, let's just take a look at the intuitive part. With a $500,000 mortgage, 30-year loan, at a 3% interest rate, the principal and interest payment's going to be a little over $2,100. Step that up to a 4% interest rate, and now the monthly payment is going to be almost $2,400. So there's about a $280 payment difference there, and I think that makes it very easy for people to point at that and say right there, that's the reason why home prices would need to go down if rates are up, but it's not true, and that's for a number of different reasons. Before we look at those, let's take a look at this really important chart from Freddie Mac. The last 6 times that mortgage interest rates rose, prices rose as well. So since 1994, these are the 6 periods we've had where there was a rising interest rate environment. You can see those 6 periods there along the bottom, and you can see that all 6 times housing prices rose over time. I believe those colored lines end there whenever they were outside of the hiked mortgage rate environment. So there's some proof, there's some feedback, but that confounds a lot of people who think, well, how could that possibly be true? It still doesn't make sense to you. Well, there's a number of reasons. We need to think about what is going on in the economy and in society when mortgage interest rates rise. That typically means that the economy is doing good, and to keep an economy from overheating, the government and others wants to keep mortgage interest rates high so that inflation doesn't run out of control. Higher mortgage rates and all sorts of interest rates, that's really what an economy can withstand when an economy is humming along and doing very well and businesses are hiring and the unemployment rate's going down like it is now, and both businesses and people are feeling prosperous and affluent. So therefore, they can go out and afford more because the economy's doing really well. So therefore, there's typically greater demand for housing when mortgage interest rates rise. This all increases home buyer demand. So economies are complex and they don't just respond to one variable. Often they don't respond to the variable that you think that they would respond to. Another important thing to keep in mind that might seem counterintuitive to you is with higher interest rates, housing supply typically goes down, which does make it remarkable that last year with lower interest rates, the housing supply shrunk with what's going on with the unique nature of the latest recession that we had. To help understand why higher interest rates correlate with lower housing supply, and it's incredible to think that we could go even lower in response to these higher interest rates, is let me ask you, if you live in a home that already has a low mortgage rate, like 3% locked in on it, you're pretty happy with your situation. You're less likely to put your home on the market, constraining supply, because to go out and get a replacement home, if interest rates have gone from 3%, say, up to 4 or 5%, you would need to pay more money just for an equivalent home. And to get a better home, you wouldn't have to pay a little more, you'd now have to pay a lot more for it. So therefore, you're reluctant to put your home on the market because you and everyone else has these really low interest rates, so they're really content to stay home. So there's a financial disincentive to moving. You've got your low rate locked in. The houses don't come on the market. That creates that low supply. So therefore, a lot of demographers would even tell you that higher interest rates are even an impediment to migration, or that slows down what they call the mobility rate. Now, a great place to look at rates is, again, at Freddie Mac, just staying consistent here. You can always go to freddiemac.com/PMMS. That stands for Primary Mortgage Market Survey. Freddie Mac has been tracking interest rates since 1971, so for 50 years now. 30-year mortgage rates, fixed amortizing types like we're used to now, they didn't begin to appear in the United States until 1948. We've got that history since 1971. They update their rates every Thursday here. It's a website that I like to go to. And as you can see, interest rates bottomed out for their all-time low, record low of 2.65% back in January of 2021. So even though they're up from the bottom since then, they're still just astoundingly low. Mortgage interest rates peaked at over 18% in October of 1981, which is incomprehensible to most people. So if you liked, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, I'd be grateful. In conclusion, rates are low, though they are rising. Higher interest rates do reduce purchasing power and affordability, but typically the reason that rates have increased is because everyone is prosperous and doing better, and they need to cool inflation. So this strong economy and this affluence increases demand, and I already explained to you why it reduces supply. So with higher interest rates, when you have more demand and less supply, that is one big reason why housing prices rise when interest rates rise. Hey, if this topic interests you, we've really been talking here about what are called long-term rates, but the Fed, they control short-term interest rates. I described in just a 3-minute video how the Fed, the Federal Open Market Committee run by Jerome Powell, how it works in just 3 minutes. I don't think you're ever going to see a better summary of how the Fed works in 3 minutes, so I'll put that video for you right here. Check that out. I'm Keith Weinhold. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, clicking the notification bell, and giving me part of your time today. I'll catch you in the next video.
Americans are not saving for retirement. It's going to get worse as people live longer, so you need to think differently, but you can't lose your time. Real estate is the investment vehicle that has created more million and billionaires than anything else. Get Rich Education is one of America's top investing shows disrupting Wall Street. Your host, Keith Weinhold, is a true financial educator and has been an income property investor since 2002. Get Rich Education has created millions in passive monthly income for its followers. Now, Keith has a free book, The 7 Money Myths That Are Killing Your Wealth Potential. Get your copy now at getricheducation.com/book. Invest in what produces income for you now and later. Use the link in the description to download for free The 7 Money Myths That Are Killing Your Wealth Potential. Get Rich Education is on every podcasting platform and has its own native iOS and Android apps. Join Get Rich Education Nation to create financial freedom through real estate investing. Subscribe wherever you listen.